Are you newer to MX bikes and you just can't seem to figure out how to ride Supercross? Well, look no further because I am here today to try to help you out with 3 tracks that are free on MXB mods that I feel like can help in every aspect of Supercross, and they are beginner friendly. What's up guys, it is Rodak here with Rodak's Revival, and I know how you're feeling. If you are newer to MX bikes, Supercross seems like it can be a daunting task because this was me. The first Supercross track I ever downloaded was 2024 Arlington because I was at that race, and let me tell you, I spent countless hours on that track just crashing and crashing and crashing and crashing, and I wish I wouldn't have banged my head against the wall trying to figure out Supercross by racing that track, and I wish I would have just done this instead. Now, while I think all 3 of these tracks are pretty beginner friendly, they are going to up in difficulty just a little bit on each one because, like I said, I feel like they all teach you different little skills that you learn in Supercross. And stick around to the end for a 4th bonus track. So without further ado, let's hop into track number 1. So track number 1 is going to be Lexington Park SX. Now, if you've been around the motocross gaming scene a little bit, then you would know that this is from the DLC on MX vs. ATV Alive. Now, the reason I picked Lexington Park SX as the first one is because the track is super wide, the tough blocks don't have any collisions, the rhythms are very rolled off, they're not big, they're not peaky, so you can get away with casing things or over jumping some things, and both rhythm lanes that aren't very big, there's not very big combinations that you gotta go for. You can find 2 different ways of getting through every rhythm section on this track. The whoop section is not big at all, you don't even have to do anything with your controller to get through them, but it gives you that introduction into being able to learn how to flow and learn how to have some throttle control while going through rhythm sections and learning how to do on-offs at a very beginner level. Like I said, the track is super wide. The tough blocks don't have collisions. It's very hard to crash on this track because the jumps aren't very big, they're rolled off, and I just think this is something that I wish I would have found when I started Supercross because I feel like I would have progressed a lot quicker than I actually did. But like I said, I think this is the perfect place to start off for somebody who is a beginner at Supercross and they just don't want to get thrown into the deep end. And you can start your path of trying to learn Supercross right here. Now, before we jump to track number 2, I just wanted to let you guys know that my Patreon is live. There are exclusive videos on there that will never see YouTube. The bronze tier gets you all the additional videos, like I said, that you won't see on YouTube. Also allows access to some fun races and elimination races that I host. The silver tier gets everything the bronze tier gets. You also get a shout out at the end of each YouTube video and occasional bike setups when I drop them. Now, the gold tier gets you the same access as bronze and the silver tiers, but also 1 day a week you get to choose any day you want, anytime you want, for a 45-minute one-on-one session where we can either just ride together, we can train together, I can give some lessons to you. Like I said, I'm not an ARL pro, but I do think I have a lot of skills to be able to give to a newer or intermediate player. But enough of the shameless plug, and let's head to track number 2. Now listen, before you make any judgments, I know this track can be daunting, and just look at the name, 8 Mile SX MXB. Yes, that is right. This is like a 10-minute track of nothing but rhythm sections, corners, on-off, some big booters. There's like 5 different lanes on this track where it's just nothing but whoop section, turn, whoop section, turn, whoop section, turn, whoop section, turn. You get the gist. But I will say this was a track originally for MX Simulator. So when it comes over to MX bikes, the jumps are still pretty small. They're pretty rolled off. You do have more of an option of crashing on this track than you do the first one. That's why it is number 2. It is a little bit more difficult, but I think this is perfect. A perfect track to learn long rhythms, to be able to see what's coming up next, to be able to adjust when you're in the middle of rhythm sections, to just get all that stuff down. The jumps are still not super peaky. They are pretty rolled off. There are some parts that can be a little bit more difficult, but it is just, like I said, like a 10-minute track of you doing nothing but rhythm sections, whoop sections, big triples, learning how to triple coming out of corners, learning how to adjust if you over jump something or under jump something. I think this is the perfect track if you want to learn those skills of how to get through a rhythm section, how to get through a whoop section cleanly, how to stay low during your rhythm sections, how to take corners pretty quickly, how to hit a triple coming out of a corner, how to hit a quad, all these things. This track is perfect for teaching you how to get your timing down and all those other things that I just mentioned. And just for a second, I will show you that it's not as daunting as it may seem. This video that you are seeing right now, this is my first time ever seeing the track and I'm just kind of going around doing a double here, a triple here, trying to hit some quads, just hitting corners and just figuring it out on the fly. Like I said, you can case a bunch of things in here, you can overjump a bunch of things. You're not gonna absolutely die on everything. That is super frustrating. It makes you want to stay away from the game, but like I said, everything's rolled off here. It's not super crazy. There's on-offs. Like I said, the best thing that I think this teaches you is how to get through a rhythm section, how to have timing to get through a rhythm section, because there's plenty of times where you gotta just blip the throttle. There's times where you gotta pin the throttle. It is perfect. And I think if you can learn to get around this track, you are well on your way to being good at Supercross in this game. And the last thing before we get to the third track, I just wanna give a shout out to Skimatic. He is the guy on our team that has made this model swap that you see me on, made the graphics kit. He is absolutely sick when it comes to making anything that we need in the game. So if you guys want to check him out on his Discord, his link is in the description. He does the best work that I have seen out there. So like I said, his link to his Discord is in the description and go check him out. And finally, for track number 3, we have Sundown Supercross. Now the reason I put this one at number 3 is because I do think it does pose a challenge. The rhythms are peaky. You can crash if you come up short or over jump some things. The whoop sections are not easy. You can crash while going through them, and the track soil makes it so that it is kind of slick in the corners, so you gotta learn that throttle control there. But I will say what sets it apart from being a super hard or pro Supercross track is there's really only one way you want to really get through the rhythms. Now the first rhythm after the finish line, you can get through that one in a few different ways, but with the 3 back-to-back rhythm sections in the back, you're really only going triple, triple. The next one you're gonna go triple, triple, single out, and the next one you're gonna go triple, then triple on the table, then on off, and then single out. So I think that's where it still leaves that beginner gray area, because there's really only one way to take the track with it. It comes to a fast line. But where I think it can become good for beginners is, like I said, it is peaky. It does teach you throttle control in the corners, especially coming out of corners. If you're on a 250, to hit those triples coming out of the corners, you got to learn where to position your body and also have that throttle control to not slide out coming out of the rhythm section. Like I said, the jumps are a little bit more peaky. The whoop sections are definitely the hardest ones out of the 3 tracks that I've chosen. But I think if you can get through running consistent laps on the first track and then learning those skills of all those rhythm sections and everything on the second track, when you come to Sundown Supercross, you'll be fully set to learn this track. Yeah, you might make some mistakes and you're gonna crash, and it's not always the easiest thing, but compared to an ARL track or one of the SIRL tracks or any one of those pro level tracks, I don't feel like this is fully up there, but I feel like this is just bridging that gap to where you are a beginner player to an intermediate player. And I think this is the perfect track to try to transition into that intermediate play style. Now for the bonus track, if you feel like you have mastered those first 3 tracks, I think the 2025 DDC SX preseason Miami track is the perfect transition to that intermediate expert level. There is long rhythm sections. You got to have a bunch of throttle control. The whoop section is not easy at all. There's different ways to get to the rhythms. You can go on off, you can go triple, you can go quad. There are so many different ways. I feel like this is the first pro level Supercross track that I feel like someone who's intermediate can learn. And I'm saying that from experience because this was the track that taught me Supercross the most. I was struggling on all of the ARL Supercross tracks for the previous year when I was trying to learn Supercross. But then this DDC preseason Miami one came out. I wasn't ready to throw my controller through the window every 2 seconds from just eating it in every single rhythm section. Not all the jumps are super peaky, but you will crash on this every so often. That's just what's gonna happen. But I grinded this track because I genuinely enjoyed it for that intermediate skill level that I was kind of at that point. And this track single-handedly is what made me love Supercross more than outdoors when it came to this game. So that one is actually on the MX Bike shop, but it is free. It is not paid. All these tracks are free, but also all of their links will be down in the description if you want to download any of them. Leave a like, leave a comment, leave a share if this video helped you out at all, or if you rode the tracks, and tell me what you think. And let me know if you guys want me to do this for outdoor tracks as well. That'll be it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope I can make some people better at this game, and I just really hope this helps someone out there. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.